When you hear the word yoga, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Let's be honest, it's probably a yoga mat, some stretchy pants, maybe a trendy studio downtown. But what if I told you that's just scratching the surface, like not even the tip of the iceberg? Today, we're going to go way beyond the physical poses to get to the real, profound philosophy at the heart of it all. So let's dive in and find out what this path of union is really about.
Right off the bat, one of the most important texts, the Bhagavad Gita, gives us this absolute gem of a definition. Yoga is skill in action. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say skill in poses or skill in breathing. It says skill in action. This one little line is our first big clue that yoga is about how we live our entire lives, not just for an hour on a rubber mat.
Okay, so that just opens up a huge question, right? If it's skill in action, what kind of skill are we talking about? And where is this path supposed to be leading us anyway? To figure that out, we have to ask an even more basic question. What does the word yoga itself actually mean? We've got to go back to the very beginning.
To find the answer, we have to look past the modern image and dig deep into the original meaning, which is hiding in plain sight within the word itself.
So the word yoga actually comes from the ancient Sanskrit root yuj, and its meaning is incredibly simple but so powerful. To join, to unite, to connect. So right away, we know it's not about twisting your body into a pretzel, it's about creating a connection. But a connection between what, exactly?
And here we have it, the ultimate goal. The philosophy tells us yoga is about uniting the jivatma, that's your individual self, your unique spark of consciousness, with the paramatma, which is the universal divine consciousness that flows through everything. Think about it like this. It's the moment a single drop of water finally realizes it's part of the entire vast ocean.
This chart just lays it out so clearly. According to this way of thinking, our normal, everyday state is viyoga. That's the column on the left. Separation, conflict, duality, always feeling like you're disconnected from everything else. Yoga is the path, the process that takes us from that state of conflict over to the state of yoga on the right, union, harmony, and oneness.
So that brings us to the core problem yoga is trying to solve. If the goal is this beautiful state of union, then what's keeping us stuck in separation? Well, the answer is that there's a constant battle raging, and it's happening right inside each and every one of us.
You know, this isn't some new age problem. Thousands of years ago, in the Bhagavad Gita, the great warrior Arjuna just perfectly nailed this feeling. He says to Krishna, "The mind is restless, turbulent. I think it's as hard to control as the wind." I mean, does that sound familiar? Who hasn't felt that way? It's a deeply human struggle.
And here's how that internal tug-of-war actually plays out. It starts with your soul, your true self, the jivatma. But then your mind, your restless, chattering mind, is constantly pulling you outwards, chasing after worldly things. But at the same time, there's another pull. The divine, the paramatma, is calling you back towards peace. And your poor soul is just caught right in the middle of this never-ending struggle.
Okay, so if this restless mind is the real source of the problem, then mastering it has to be the solution, right? And that is exactly what yoga offers, a clear, time-tested path to taming that wild beast inside.
I absolutely love this analogy. It's so perfect. Just picture it. Your mind is like a wild, untamed horse. If you just let it run free, it'll drag you all over the place, chasing every whim, every fear, every desire. It has incredible strength, for sure. But without any direction, that power just creates chaos.
And this brings us to what is probably the single most famous definition of yoga, from the great sage Patanjali. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Now that sounds complicated, but what it really means is that yoga is the stilling of all the chatter, all the fluctuations, all the endless ripples in the mind. It's not about making your mind blank. It's about making it calm and crystal clear.
So, let's go back to that wild horse. If the mind is the horse, then yoga is the reins. It's the actual practice of gently but firmly taking control, calming that frantic energy, and bringing the mind to a place of stillness. Only then can you actually steer it where you truly want to go. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds very deep and philosophical, but how in the world are we supposed to do this in our busy, chaotic, modern lives? Well, the answer is surprisingly practical, and it takes us right back to that first quote we looked at.
You see, the ancient texts talk about a few different paths, but they suggest that for our current age, this crazy modern world, the most direct and effective path for most of us is karma yoga, the yoga of action. You don't need to go live in a cave. You can find this union right here, in the middle of your everyday life.
And this is the playbook. This is how you do it. First, you perform whatever your duty is with total focus. You act with skill and excellence. That's the skill and action part. But here's the secret sauce, the most important step. You remain completely unattached to the results, to the praise, the blame, the success, the failure. It's that act of detachment that finally allows you to conquer the restless mind.
So, what's the payoff? What happens when you really practice this? When you manage to quiet the mind through skillful, detached action, what's the ultimate reward? Where does this path actually lead?
The mystic poet Sant Kabir just captures this universal human feeling so beautifully. We all have this kind of quiet ache inside, right? A feeling that something's missing. We're all searching for a kind of deep peace or fulfillment that the world just can't seem to give us. That feeling, that's the yearning for union. And the reward for this incredible journey has a name, Paramanda. This isn't just regular happiness that comes and goes. This is a supreme, eternal, unshakable bliss. It's the state you arrive at when that inner tug-of-war finally stops, and the feeling of a separate you just dissolves into the whole.
And this final idea is it's so beautiful. In that state of Paramamanda, the soul finally gets it. It was never actually separate to begin with. It's like a single ray of light, realizing that it is and always has been a part of the sun. The whole feeling of being separate was just an illusion created by the restless mind.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. Yoga isn't just something you do for an hour. It's a way you can be in every moment. So really consider it. Your job, your chores, your family, your relationships. Where in your life can you practice this skill in action? Where can you bring total focus and let go of the outcome and turn your ordinary daily life into a powerful path of union?